I failed more times than I can count, and yet here I am, a millionaire. So let's talk about why failing might actually be a great thing on the road to success. I remember just about 10 years ago, I was in my early 30s, and I felt like I was a disaster because everyone around me was either buying an apartment or building a family or getting advancement in their jobs, and here I was going back to school, being an intern in an organic shop, and not having any clue as what I was going to do in the future, and living in a very, very tiny apartment, being broke. Most people are terrified of failure, but the truth is, this is the only way to win, and here's why. I believe we are scared of trying things, but we learn by doing. And it is actually the only way to design a life that is truly ours. I quit many jobs that were not aligned for me. I went back to school several times. I got fired at 29 from a job that I actually loved, and then I didn't find another one. I was angry and I created my own job in order to be the competitor, and I failed at that. Then I was offered to join a group and co-create a company all together. We launched a startup, and 18 months later, we failed. After that, I started as a freelancer and I created my own company where I started to do communication and natural medicine. And you know what? I had to close it after a year because I didn't make it. Yet here I am, a little bit more than 10 years later, and I'm a millionaire. I have a very successful company. And everything that I've done in the past helped me build what I created today. I didn't know that every step of the way would be useful to me today. And from what I've learned along the way, having mentors and coaches and having read countless of books, everybody who had created great success had a certain amount of failure. Whether they're artists, writers, painters, singers, actors, a lot of actors have great stories to tell. And entrepreneurs, of course. And the earlier we understand that, the earlier we can do great with our own failures, which I don't like to call failures anymore. They're just experiences. So I have a question for you because I love to ask powerful questions. What would you do if failure was not so scary? I'm Anne-Claire Méret. I'm a coach, I'm a teacher, I'm also a writer. I have multiple online courses and programs to help you design the life you want from the heart. If there is one thing I wish I knew sooner, like in my 20s or even when I was a teenager, I wish there were more adults who would have come to tell me, hey, you're allowed to fail, you're allowed to make mistakes, you're allowed to try something and then try something new, something different. You're allowed to reinvent yourself from a place of experience and make different choices. You're allowed to make bold choices to the right and then choose to go to the left. And that's all going to be okay and you're not going to die from it. I wish I had learned that faster because I would have made my mistakes earlier and then I would have succeeded earlier. Whether you're in your 20s or you're in your 60s, you can always learn, you can always step into action and face your fears of failing and then get better at what you want to create. So what's the one thing you've been afraid to start? Just go. Go for it. And you're going to be learning by doing. Every time we step into action, we get experience. And every failure teaches us something to improve. Let me give you an example. When I wrote my first book, my very first book, I didn't know how to negotiate a contract. I didn't know how to communicate about the book. Well, I was lucky enough that it was a book for dummies, so I still sold quite a lot of books. Well, I wish I had known how to negotiate a contract because I would have a bigger percentage of it. But because of that, I became smarter and I knew how to communicate later on about my other launches better. And also now I'm also much better at negotiating contracts. So those 2 points were really important to me as a writer, but it took me a while to understand. Let me give you a third example. I wrote many books and I was hoping that someone someday would decide to translate my books in English. It took me only 10 books, so 10 times failing, waiting patiently to be chosen that someone someday on an international fair would say, yeah, I'm going to choose this book and adapt it into English. Well, I started to stop selling all my rights in every languages. So now, whenever I publish a book in a country with a publisher, I'm going to say, I'm selling you the rights in this language, but I'm going to keep all the other languages and I'm gonna make it happen myself if one day I desire to self-publish, which I've done with 2 of my books, How to Succeed as a Wellness Entrepreneur and Millionaire from the Heart. Fail, tweak, and then try again. That's the process. Failure forces you to dig deep. When you encounter challenges, you discover what's truly important to you and you discover your resources. You find yourself being more creative, asking questions, being curious about how others have succeeded more than you. And it will help you reveal your hidden strength. I also found that it has helped me be lighter with time. Or maybe this is just wisdom coming with age. But I was very, very serious and controlling about everything because I wanted to keep myself safe. But then I understood that actually this is a game and that it doesn't have to be taken so seriously. And what really helped me with that is to understand that this is a long game. So not everything has to be so serious. You have to take everything seriously, but you don't have to take everything like it's the end of the world if it's not succeeding. Most failures feel huge in the moment, but then when you look back, it was just a bump in the road. And once you've failed enough, you realize that everything is okay and you're not dying. You're just waking up to what's truly possible for you. You become better. So I invite you to reflect on your own past. What kind of failures did you have in the past that now, with the wisdom you've gained, you can look back and say, hey, that happened, now I can smile about it, and actually I learned quite a bit thanks to this experience. What is it? Do you want to share? I would love to read that in the comments. In my life, I made a lot of money, but I also lost a lot of money. And because I decided to be more financially educated and that I understood that there is only a certain amount of things that I can learn in books and from other people, if I had let failure stop me, oh my God, I wouldn't be where I am today. You have no idea how many projects I launched and nobody signed up. This is crazy. When people look at you and find you online, they think, oh, the grass is greener. She's probably been lucky and everybody started to follow her and buy what she was offering, but that's not true. This is far from true. I knew nobody. I had no followers. I didn't know how to make things happen. And many times I did things that didn't work, but I didn't let life just happen. I continued and I was perseverant. I would say that if there was only one quality which is really important to succeed on the long run is consistency and the ability to bounce back because we decide to commit for the long game. So I invite you to embrace your failure. They are only a stepping stone towards your success. Actually, it's not the opposite of success at all. It is the path to it. And one last advice for you. Read biographies. Read books from people who've made it, who are on the other side, and understand, reading those lines, that yes, they've been through a lot. And yes, maybe you forgot because today's social media is only short form content and you see a reel or a post, but you don't have the story, the whole thing of what they've been through to understand who they are today and what made them become who they are. So I invite you to read more biographies, to dive into long form content. This is very important today. If you'd like to read my book, I'm going to put the first chapter down below for free. You can access it in PDF version, but also in audio if you wish to listen to it. I wish you all the success in the world and to experience your failure with an open heart and with a lot of curiosity for everything that they're going to bring you. All the best. If you've enjoyed this video, I invite you to follow my channel and to put a thumbs up, as well as share the content that you find valuable to other people, because if it's been helpful for you, it can be helpful for your friends and your community. And I'll see you in the next video from the heart, always.